Hello everybody, how have you been? I'm back with a new haircut and another edition of the boxing prediction. Alright, so next weekend we are having a few fights that are, maybe we're talking about, probably are. And the first one, that's on Saturday, of course, is a rematch actually at super lightweight 140 pounds 140 between Subriel Matias and Petros Ananian. So this is the so far only loss of Subriel Matias when he lost to Ananian in the 2020 February on points. He was also dropped in the fight. I think that may have been his first knockdown also, and probably the only one so far. And Subriel Matias has 17 wins and all by knockout. So, he's a true puncher, of course. And he's 5 foot and 8. So rather standard height for that division. A big reach, 71 inch and a half. 71 and a half inch, sorry. And Ananian, and he's 29 right here. Ananian is 33, so he's older. And he's the same height actually, 5'8" and a half, well, half inch taller. But it's got a significantly smaller reach by 5 inches, only 66 and a half. And his record is 16 wins, 2 losses, but no knockouts. No knockout losses, I mean, and 2 draws. So yeah, he's lost to Steve Claggart 2018 and Kareem Martin 2019. Oh, so this was, of course, his by far biggest victory when he beat Matias almost 2 years ago. And yeah, I guess he turned pro rather late, so well, yeah, somewhat late for today's standards. So I guess he had a long amateur career, and yeah. So this fight is also at Atlantic City. Well, the last one was in Vegas, but that doesn't really matter much. And yeah, so in his last fight, Matias he was very impressive. He stopped the previously unbeaten guy, Batirjan Yukembayev. And I know of him from before. He was a really a promising prospect who defeated Miguel Vasquez, among others. So he stopped him. Matias stopped him in 8 rounds, scoring retirement, heading down. So you know, I don't know why he lost that fight. I haven't seen their first fight, but that might have been a bad night, or simply a case of wrong opponent. For Matias. Let's see, Matias is Orthodox, and Anania. Let's see. This is so. So he's also Orthodox. So that's no, of course, the stance didn't do it. All right. Well, anyway, this time around, I think Matias will be thirsty or hungry, however he prefers, for revenge. So he will do everything to avenge that loss. So, I guess if anything, this proves that he's not really a boxer, but more of a puncher, or that he can be outboxed. So, I think maybe it would be realistic to expect him to win this fight, and probably by some kind of stoppage, some kind of knockout. And yeah, I'm not sure when that may come anyway. um, yeah, because Ananya otherwise hasn't really defeated anyone. And the fight was close, it was a close fight after all. So, yeah, he didn't win by a landslide. I mean, two judges both had him winning only by a point, Ananya. So, yeah, you know, you get my point. But even if it goes the distance, I'm not sure Ananya will be able to get the decision this time. So, anyway, I think Matthias will very likely avenge this his only loss. Or maybe it can even end in a draw. Who knows? Anyway, that's my prediction. He wins by a stoppage, like within 10 rounds. Alright, that's the one. The next fight, the best one. Next weekend, Gary Allen Russell fighting against Mark Magsayo. So, Gary Allen Russell didn't have a fight since February 2020. Wow. So he has been inactive, and he has been talking about also his inactivity. Not that talking will do much to help, but anyway. Um, I think he's simply a really good fighter, but he needs to, of course, fight more. And now he's facing somebody who may be a dangerous opponent because this guy Maxayo can punch. And he last knocked out Julio Serra in 10 rounds. That was his last fight, which was last August, so he has fought, a lot more. He's been more active than Russell Jr. He's slightly taller guy than Maxayo, but it's not really a big difference, so no real factor there. And he also beat Panya Utok, who I know on points before. And yeah, he's simply a very Chris Avalos. Yeah, that's right. Uh, he's simply a very like exciting, well, not prospect, but still a fresh contender. And yeah, I think this fight might be dangerous for Russell, but still, he's looked pretty good. He's looked good, in all his fights since he became a champion. So this is his sixth defense of the WBC belt. One, two, three. Yeah, that's right. And the guy he actually defeated last, he's also coming up after his fight. Is also next weekend. But anyway, somebody, I don't forgot who it was, stated that Maxayo has a puncher's chance. So that's the thing. Yeah, he can win by a knockout. So I don't think he is likely to win on points. Well, unless he scores a couple of knockdowns at least, and then manages to win enough rounds for the rest of the fight. Yeah, but I think it's more. I mean, despite the inactivity, it's more realistic to pick Gary Russell Jr. I think it's just safer because he's just got real great hand speed and overall speed, and his technique, the skills. So I mean, the speed also just pretty amazing. I mean, I don't know the speed. I mean, he can hit pretty well also for a guy who's not a big guy, who is a fast guy. But yeah, I mean, we don't know how he will look because of the inactivity of almost 2 years. But still, I mean, some have shown recently that it didn't really, have a profound effect on them, that inactivity. Yeah, and so what else to say? Gary Allen Russell. I mean, if he loses, that would be most likely because he is still really rusty, and he will most likely be caught and like hurt and knocked down and stopped, something like that. Yes, all right. So, and the last fight, well, maybe the last I'll be talking about, yeah, probably, is this guy who has a very, very difficult name to pronounce. King Tug, they call him. Tug Sok Nyam. Yeah, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Tug Sok Nyam Bayar. Alright, so this is a fighter I was really quite excited about before, and he looked like he did have some serious punching power, really aggressive guy, tough and all that. And he did manage to win the IBO title when he beat Claudio Marrero and all those. And he had a few other solid wins before that. But then he ran into Gary Allen Russell, which was, of course, his last fight before before next weekend, and he was simply outboxed, I guess, and lost really clear decision. And after that, his last fight, he actually rather somewhat surprisingly he lost another wide decision to Chris Colbert. That was a fight for an interim WBA super featherweight title, but he's not like a featherweight, so he's fighting. Well, now he's fighting at super featherweight again, I guess, or I'm not sure. This fight, let's see. Um, doesn't really. I don't think. Yeah, it's a featherweight. That's right. I don't know why Boxrec hasn't listed as a super featherweight because he's really not. He's more of a featherweight. And his opponent is Vic Pasillas, who I really have never heard of. I'm not sure. Maybe I have only seen his name really briefly once or twice, but he 16 and 1 and 0. He's lost that one fight. He also is coming off a loss in his last fight to Raiz Ali in by a technical knockout in 11th round. So yeah, this is a fight which will like re-establish whoever wins it. Of course, it's a rebound fight, a bounce back fight, call it that way. So I think simply Nyan Bayar is the looks like a stronger, better fighter on paper, and this guy Pacias really hasn't fought almost anyone except when in his last fight when he was stopped, of course, by Alim, who is rather new also, on the scene, and yeah. But that was a super bantamweight. So also this is his first fight at featherweight, it seems, for Pacias. So that doesn't really, promise well for him, to be honest. And I expect Bayar to win anyway. Maybe by a knockout even, yeah, maybe. But it's not certain, of course. But there's a big chance that he can win by a knockout. And he's also taller by 2 inches. The Mongolian warrior. So anyway, my prediction is Jan Bayer wins iron points or probably even more likely by a knockout. Yeah, yeah. So that would be all for this weekend. I mean, upcoming. So I hope you enjoy the fights and see you. Bye bye.